Yo, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This guide is going to go over rotation specifics for the monk. If you are new and just now picking up monk, as in you have no clue what they do or what they're capable of, I highly recommend you go and check out my first video. After watching the first video and you come back to this video, everything will be a lot more clear. As I said before, this is probably not set in stone. There are probably better ways to go about going through your rotation as a monk, but this guide is going to go over specifically how I play my monk and how I get the results that I'm getting. With that being said, I have played monk for quite some time now, and I do believe that I've maximized my capabilities of this job. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. So the first thing that I want to mention before we get started with anything is going to be the stat weights. We currently do not know exactly what to prioritize over what. For example, back in the 2 point whatever days, we used to prioritize strength, det, and crit, skill speed, in that order. Now things have changed, we do know that, but we do not know how they've changed. So since we do not know, the most logical thing I can think of is just prioritizing strength, which is what I'm doing with this build that I have now. And with it, you have a shit ton of completely wasted accuracy. Most of my UI will be hidden to make things a little bit cleaner and make things easier for you guys to understand. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing is I have made a slight change to my opener, and I'll show it to you right here. So I changed to that opener instead of my last opener because this one seems to have a little bit more burst and it requires less movement than my last one. So it's going to make your rotation flow a lot smoother. I'm going to try my best to try to explain exactly how and what to do for every step and amongst rotation. We're going to start with the new opener, and then as soon as the opener is done, we'll pick up and talk about the rotation from there. Here we are at the end of our opener, and the question is what to do next. So with this opener, we finished exactly right back at the start of our 1-2-3 combo. So if we look at the 1 skills, we have Dragon Kick and Boot Shine. We need to ask ourselves, which one do we use now? If you check out my green and yellow finger here, you can see that our Dragon Kick debuff has just worn off. Knowing that we can't have our debuffs falling off, that means we need to refresh Dragon Kick immediately. Now that's out of the way, we move on to the 2 skills. The 2 skills include Twin Snakes and True Strike. If you look at the timer for our Twin Snakes buff, it's below 6 seconds. And anytime our Twin Snakes buff is below 6 seconds, it needs to be refreshed. The 3 skills include Snap Punch and Demolish. Every time we get into the 3rd step in our 1-2-3 rotation, the first thing we need to do is look at the timer on Demolish. The rule for this is if Demolish is at 2 seconds or below, to go ahead and refresh. This is a good example because right now it's at 4 seconds, but by the time we reapply Demolish, then it would have dropped to 2 seconds. We are back at the 1 skills again. We have Boot Shine and Dragon Kick. Dragon Kick is not below 6 seconds, so we're going to use Boot Shine. Touch of Death is about to fall off. We want to refresh that as soon as we can. Generally, a good rule of thumb for Touch of Death is to use it before your 1 skills and after your 3 skills. If you do that, you can get into some pretty smooth transitions. Shoulder tackle just came off cooldown. Really quick question, are we changing targets or moving somewhere? No? Then use it. We are still on the second hit of our 1-2-3 rotation, so that gives us True Strike and Twin Snakes. Anytime you get to the second step of the rotation, you always want to look at your Twin Snakes buff. You usually want to reset it at 6 seconds or below, but in this particular example, I knew that I had just refreshed Touch of Death, so instead I used True Strike. Elixir Field just came off cooldown, and then the same rules apply as before. We're going to skip ahead in the rotation a little bit to show you something that I think is kind of important. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Demolish and Touch of Death will have the exact same timers, which in my opinion is a good thing. So the question comes up is, how do you refresh both dots without them falling off? And when's a good time to refresh them without doing it too soon? We're gonna skip ahead in our rotation again, so I can show you exactly how I manage my dots when they're on the exact same cooldown. The best way I found out how to take care of this is to always use Demolish before Touch of Death, and make sure you refresh them a little bit sooner than what you normally do, so about 3 to 4 seconds. You are going to clip a little bit like this, but it's not going to lower your DPS by too much. So that's everything you need to do in order to maximize your DPS. Finally, a lot of people have been asking me for it, so here is a full-on parse of my DPS. There is no party buff and there's no food or pots.